Odin's passing in Thor Ragnarok is a tragic but peaceful moment that finds the god getting some much-needed closure with his two sons. But a recently discovered deleted scene has revealed his passing was originally a lot more brutal, and it involves Ragnarok's mega-powerful supervillain, Odin's disgraceful daughter Hela. So why was this major moment left on the cutting room floor? Stay tuned because we've got all the details. Thor Ragnarok picks up after the events of Thor: The Dark World. Loki has spent the last few years impersonating Odin in Asgard, but he could only take the role of king by wiping his father's memory and leaving him on Earth. Once Thor finds out, he grabs his brother and enlists the help of Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange in order to find Odin. In the official version of Thor Ragnarok, Loki and Thor track down Odin after learning that his nursing home was destroyed. Doctor Strange opens a portal to Norway for the brothers where they find Odin living a quiet and peaceful life. Unfortunately, his health is rapidly declining and they know that he doesn't have long to live. But being so near the end of his life allows Odin to find closure with his sons. It's a touching moment that starts the film off on the right tone, with Loki and Thor making amends with their father despite the problems they've had in the past. Once closure is reached, Odin passes away naturally, and his passing also lays the foundation for new Asgard. Once he is gone and the sons have had a moment to make their peace with losing him, Hela makes her grand entrance and chaos erupts. But a deleted scene that was leaked on social media and is available in the recently released Infinity Saga box set shows that Odin's passing could have been the result of a much darker series of events. The deleted scene features Thor and Loki finding Odin in much worse condition. Instead of his final resting place being a peaceful field in Norway, the brothers find him homeless and wandering the streets of New York City. He's nowhere near as clean and put together as he was in Norway. Instead, he's dirty, confused, and dressed in ragged clothes. Odin also seems to still be suffering from the effects of Loki's memory wipe. He does recognize Thor and Loki, but he rambles as he speaks to them, saying that Asgard is not real. But he also says that Ragnarok and Hela are coming, so at least some of his ramblings are accurate. Odin transfers his power to Thor in preparation for the upcoming battle. He also gives Thor a glimpse of the impending destruction. And then things go completely downhill as Hela appears. We all know that Hela spells bad news, and in this deleted scene she makes that obvious with her unnerving presence. She asks Odin why he kept her work a secret, and he comments on how cold and brutal she has become. She's not exactly insulted by the words, but she definitely has some unresolved issues with her father. So she proves him right by stabbing him in the chest. It's not a peaceful ending like the one Odin got in Norway. While Hela sets about destroying Mjolnir, Loki and Thor escape, and we can imagine that their anger at Hela far outweighs how they felt when they first encountered her in the theatrical version. There are some important similarities between the two versions. In both, Odin warns his sons about the upcoming Ragnarok and the return of their sister Hela. Hela makes her appearance in both scenes and destroys Mjolnir, which, fun fact, was actually made of a sturdy florist's foam in order to be convincingly crushed by actress Cate Blanchett. Hela's actions set up the rivalry between her and her brothers, and also plants the seeds of doubt that Thor starts to develop about himself and his abilities. The crucial difference is that Odin's passing seems much more positive in the original scene and gives Thor and Loki a final moment at peace before the Battle of Asgard begins. The deleted scenes actually answers a couple questions for fans. During production, some images of Odin had leaked showing actor Anthony Hopkins looking homeless in a New York City alleyway. Plus, images of clips from the original Thor Ragnarok trailer shows Hela and Thor's hammer in an alley. This particular scene was then changed to a field in Norway, but with good reason. Director Taika Waititi jokingly told Digital Spy that they made the change because alleyways aren't cool, fields are cool, alright? And on a more serious note, Waititi revealed that, quote, "What we wanted to do was have them go down to Earth and see Doctor Strange and stuff, but it just felt too convenient that he was suddenly just down a road in an alley. And also, everything up until then had been so fast-paced and all over the place. We wanted to go someplace peaceful." And peace definitely played a major role in the change, with visual effects supervisor Jake Morrison telling Inverse that it's a really incredible, touching moment. It was in service of the film making sure it had a resonance with the characters and the character choices. The VFX department definitely didn't mind making the changes to better portray Taika Waititi's vision. The whole crew seemed to agree that Thor and Loki deserved a peaceful moment with their father before going head-to-head with Hela. Another important point raised by Waititi was how demeaning and predictable it was for a god as great as Odin to meet his end in a dingy, graffiti-covered New York alley. So while many of the MCU films focus primarily on destruction in cities, the majority of Thor Ragnarok takes place on Asgard, away from Earth and the typical New York City landscape. To stick with his vision and make the film seem disconnected from the more traditional earthly superhero stuff, Waititi wanted the settings to be more original. The scene change also suggests some things about Hela's character. Her appearance after Odin has passed suggests that she does harbor some fear and respect for her father. It leaves fans to question whether or not she was worried about going head-to-head with Odin, even though she brushes it off with a comment about wishing she could have seen his passing. It also makes her a little more redeemable in the eyes of her brothers, though that is quickly tarnished by her cruel actions on Asgard and her seemingly endless trail of destruction. Plus, Hela is the literal goddess of death. She didn't really need to add Odin to her list of casualties in order to make that clear to the audience. The MCU already took liberties with Hela's character, making her the daughter of Odin instead of sticking with the comic book mythology, which depicts her as the daughter of Loki. Creating a sibling rivalry between her and Thor and Loki creates the air of animosity necessary to make her villainous ways seem more personal. And while Hela may have taken her fashion sense from the original Jack Kirby and Stan Lee character design, the Thor franchise definitely makes her motivations and backstory unique to the cinematic universe. But it really all comes down to what the audience thought of the character and whether or not her actions had the desired effect in the film. Would you have preferred to see her really emphasize her evil ways by being responsible for Odin's passing? Let us know in the comments. The scene change also has some ramifications on the star of the whole franchise. The events left Thor feeling pretty hopeless, which led to Avengers Endgame, depicting the God of Thunder as scared of responsibility and an incredibly low sense of confidence in his abilities. Since this change of pace was easily accomplished by Hela's actions, regardless of her being the one to eliminate Odin, we can't help but agree with Waititi that it was unnecessary to make Hela even more of a villain. She's a terrible enough sister to have without adding patricide to the list. Thor would have lost both Odin and Loki either way, which jump-started his decline into a depressed god no longer in his prime. Christopher Marcus, who wrote Thor: The Dark World, has no ill will towards the writers and director of Thor Ragnarok. He told the Los Angeles Times that Thor got retoned by director Taika Waititi. Would the deleted scene have led to a more jaded and angry version of Thor? It's hard to say. But since the God of Thunder has already been through so much, we're kind of happy we didn't have to find out. The highly anticipated follow-up, Thor: Love and Thunder, has tapped Jennifer Caton Robinson as a writer, with Marvel Studios confident that she'll be able to take Thor to new heights in terms of regaining his self-confidence and making peace with his losses. And of course, she'll have to tackle the sure-to-be emotional reunion between him and ex-Natalie Portman, who will be playing the female version of Thor from another universe. As for Odin, we're happy the god got his peaceful end and was able to go happily, knowing that he'd given his sons the tools needed to defeat Hela and stop Ragnarok. While things didn't turn out especially well for Asgard, Thor would not have been able to make it out alive without the gifts and wisdom Odin bestowed upon him. Taika Waititi said that he didn't want to end Odin's legacy with the audience feeling sorry for him, which was the biggest complaint the director received in connection to the deleted scene. Instead, Anthony Hopkins got to portray the god's serenity in the moments before he moved on from this world, and the character of Odin was honored in the MCU. Odin went in a manner fitting for a god. He disintegrated into pure energy, known as the Odin Force, and entered Valhalla willingly. And with future MCU films exploring the multiverse, it may not even be the last time we get to see Odin. But we are definitely more at peace knowing that even if we never get to see Anthony Hopkins return in the role, we got to say goodbye to Odin in a satisfying way. For fans and collectors willing to shell out over $500 on MCU content, the Marvel Infinity Saga box set is packed with other fun extras and deleted scenes that would have changed a lot if they'd made it into the final version of the MCU films. It's like these deleted scenes create their own little universe of what could have been. And of course, the box set includes all 23 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies from the first 3 phases of the MCU. It's no surprise that the box set sold out incredibly quickly, but fans who are lucky enough to get their hands on it have shared details about some of the juiciest deleted content. So if you can't wait until Chris Hemsworth makes his return as Thor in Thor: Love and Thunder, then maybe checking out some of these deleted scenes and fun extras will help keep you pumped up for the new film. So how do you think this deleted scene would have changed Thor Ragnarok? Which of Odin's endings do you prefer? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of your favorite comic book content.